Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Bhatvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Klishtakarine Namo Vedanta Vedhyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvalokahite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetranana Pada Baho Sahasranamam Stavanam Prashastham Niruchyate Janma Jaradi Shanti. Namaste once again, everyone. Bharabhrit Katitho Yogi Yogisha Sarvakamadah Ashramasramanashkshamah Suparno Vayuvahanah. So in the last class, we saw the meanings of the Nama till Yogi. Next Nama is Yogi Shaha. Yogi Sahan, Yoganam Ishaha, Lord of all the yogis. Anye Yogino Yogantarayehi Anyante Swarupat Pramadhyanti. Ayam tu tad rahitatvat tesham isha iti yogishaha. So Adi Shankara is defining what is yogisha. Anyone who takes to yoga to understand oneself. The reference, of course, here is Jnana Yoga. So anyone who takes to yoga to understand oneself is a yogi. But such yogis, they have to face a lot of obstacles and have to struggle a lot to reach the end. Because the spiritual path is not a very easy path. Whereas the Lord, he does not have any self-ignorance. He knows himself naturally. He knows his Swarupa without any struggle or obstacle. And therefore, he is Yogishwara, the Lord of all yogis. The 4th chapter, Bhagavan Krishna says in the Gita, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam. I am the initiator of this yoga, and I taught this yoga to Vivaswan, the Lord, Son, the Sun God. And elsewhere, Sanjaya, who is the minister of Dhritarashtra, refers to Lord Krishna as Yogeshwara. In fact, towards the last sloka of Bhagavad Gita is Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishno Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha. So there he refers to Bhagavan Krishna as Yogeshwara, and that is what is here as is taken as Yogishaha. Therefore, Bhagavan is the very yoga, and he is also the yogi, the one who is to be gained by yoga. So he is Yogeshwara, the foremost of all those who know their self. In fact, if you recall, I think early, 18th or 19th Nama, we have seen two Namas. One was Yogaha, and there the meaning was the one who is attained through yoga. Then the second Nama we have seen was Yoga Vitam Neta, the leader leader of those who know yoga, Yoga Vidam. So Yogam Veti iti Yogavit, those who know yoga. And the leader of those is Yoga Vidam Neta. These namas we have already seen. The same idea is Yogeshwara. So he is the one who has initiated and taught the yoga, and also takes care of those who take to yoga with a commitment to knowing Bhagavan, knowing Ishvara, knowing the Lord. That is Yogishaha. Then Sarva Kamadaha. He is the fulfiller of all desires. Sarvan Kaman Dadhati iti Sarva Kamadaha. See, we are all as samsaris. We pray to a variety of deities to fulfill varieties of desires. Somebody doesn't have a child. He is told, you go and pray to so and so deity. You will get a child. Somebody has conceived, but there appears to be some difficulties, during pregnancy. So again, there is another deity to whom you can go and pray for safe delivery of the child. Somebody has got, the astrologer says that there is a kuja dosha in your horoscope. What they call in Mangalik, in Hindi they call Mangalik. Again, there is a deity to whom you go and pray to remove or at least minimize the effect of that kuja dosha. So people pray to varieties of deities to fulfill varieties of desires. But eventually, Bhagavan can fulfill all those desires and also some more, because he is the ultimate giver of the karma phala, the results of action, and hence he is Sarva Kamadha, the fulfiller of all desires and giver of all desirable objects. But of course, when he gives the karma phala, there are different departments which he has got who administer that karma phala. So there are various deities who are heads of those departments, devatas we call. Through them, the karma phala of every jiva is administered. Therefore, he is Sarva Kamada. Then the next nama is Ashramaha. The word Ashramaha literally means a resting place. Ashramavat sarvesham samsararanye brahmatam vishramastaanavat ashramaha. So Bhagavan is like a resting place to all those who wander in the forest of samsara. So ashrama is a place, the hermitage, where one can have rest and peace, where the tired and weary person can relax and get rid of the shrama, all the tiredness caused by lot of physical activity. And Jiva, we know, is being born again and again, and it is wandering in the forest of samsara. Eventually, the Jiva becomes tired and needs a place to relax. Where will the Jiva go? The Lord is that relaxing place, the ashrama. So Ishvara is the only place where one can totally relax. Once you enter a temple, an ashrama, an altar of Ishvara, because we need not necessarily take the word ashrama as a place away from our house. If you have got an altar in your house and you sit before the altar, close your eyes and do some japa, and if that gives you relaxation, if that gives you rest and peace, that is an ashrama for you. So any place which helps you to relax, the presence of Ishvara in that place is felt. Because it is only in the presence of Ishvara one can totally relax. Because suppose one goes to an ashrama, like Gurukulam, no, Arsha Vidya Gurukulam or any ashrama, if there is no teaching, then one have it, the relaxation has to be discovered in oneself alone. One has to read, contemplate, do japa, etc. The divine presence is required for the mind to totally relax. Because when we are in the presence of Bhagavan or Ishvara, automatically we give up all the worries, we transfer all our anxieties, our worries to Ishvara. And by doing so itself, our mind becomes calm and tranquil and relaxed. Therefore, ultimately, the ashrama is only Bhagavan. Therefore, Bhagavan is called ashrama. Then Shramana, the afflictor. Avivekinaha sarvan santapayati iti Shramana. If one does not follow dharma and does not have the viveka to know what one is doing, then Bhagavan will give shrama, that is problems and obstacles, so that the person will come back to him. It is not that the Bhagavan has got some ulterior motive. He is not out to collect votes for himself. So he will put people into difficulties and then they will come and surrender to him. That's a typical approach of a underworld don. That's what he does. He will first create problems for people and then the people will approach the don for helping them out of the problem. And the don will play Godfather. Bhagavan is not in that game. So all these, creation of problems and obstacles and all, we have to understand it figuratively. They're all figurative expressions. A person who indulges in adharmic activities because of his own activities, because of his own karma, will face difficulties in his life, either in this janma or in some future janma. Because no karma will go without giving him karma phala. And when he is actually suffering so much because of his own actions, he is bound to understand that he has actually moved away from Ishvara, and the only way that he can redeem himself is by turning to Ishvara and by coming back to Ishvara, because that is dharma, that is what the Vedas teach, and that is the law, that is the cosmic law. Therefore, giving problems, punishing people, adharmic people, it is not that Lord is, he wreaks vengeance on those people. The Lord is just administering the cosmic order, the cosmic law which has been propounded. And that is why this happens. So he is Shramanaha. For people, adharmic people, avivekinaha, for those people. Then Kshamaha. Kshamaha means the one who causes decline. Kshamaha, Kshinaha, Sarvaha, Prajaha, Karoti, iti Kshamaha. He is Kshama, the one who makes people age and decline and then finally pass away. But then he also makes them come back again. That is Parameshwara. And this process is repeated birth and death, birth after birth. And as I said, this, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam is a very tiresome process. It makes people weary. That's why Bhagavan says, the 7th chapter, if I am not wrong, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavanman Anavanmam Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. So when will I get moksha? When will I feel like surrendering to Bhagavan? If that question is asked, everybody will get their turn. When they become tired of this Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, automatically they will be brought to a situation where they are tired, weary, and they will just surrender to Bhagavan because he is the ashrama. That's the only place there where they will understand that I can get relaxation, I can get peace. So, as karma phala, Bhagavan makes through repeated births and deaths weary, and he also gives economic downfall or some other great downfall to people. It's all part of karma phala. Bhagavan is only the administering the result of the karma which people have themselves done. Therefore, as the giver of the fruits of action, Bhagavan here is called Shamaha. 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 Either way. Shamaha. Then Suparnaha. Suparnaha. Parna means the leaf, foliage of a tree. Suparnaha means the one who is in the form of a tree with good foliage. Sushobhanani parnani chandamsi samsara tarurupinoha asyeti suparnaha. So a tree which is with a very good amount of foliage is called Suparna. And the foliage helps in nourishing the tree. It is because of the foliage, in terms of leaves and all that, The sunlight is absorbed and the food is prepared through this photosynthesis process, and the tree gets its food and nourishment. And the Lord is the Suparna, the tree of samsara, whose foliage is in the form of chandas. Chandas means the Vedas, which give knowledge of the various means and ends, and also of dharma and adharma. Equipped with this knowledge of the various means and ends, one undertakes activities. These actions produce results, and the results themselves are always limited and wanting, and hence we do more actions which give more results. And as we have seen, there are two types of results for every action: drishtaphala and adrishtaphala. The drishtaphala we immediately enjoy, or we enjoy the drishtaphala, or I wouldn't say enjoy, because drishtaphala could be unpleasant experience also. So drishtaphala is experienced either in this janma or in the future janmas, whereas the adrishtaphala results in the cycle of births, which goes on and on and on. And this tree of samsara is a self-perpetuating tree, because we go on doing karmas. We do one karma, there is a result. And because of the result, there is another karma. And then the birth takes place. And because of the birth, there is activity. And this process goes on and on and on. And the jiva is caught in the bondage of samsara continuously. Jiva doesn't know what to do, because being caught in this bondage is not the jiva's natural self. The natural characteristic of a jiva is liberated, freedom, not caught in any bondage. So the jiva mistakenly thinks that the more karma the jiva does, it can get rid of this bondage. But what happens is, by doing more and more karma, the jiva is getting more and more bogged down in the bondage. And the Lord, being the root of this samsara tree, is called Suparna. And therefore, the jiva comes, when the time is ripe, he comes across a guru who tells him the secret of how to get rid of this bondage, how to get out of this bondage. And one of the things the guru will advise is, for the jiva to get out of this bondage, needs to know its real self as liberated, as enjoying the freedom as its own swarupa. Every jiva's nature is liberation, moksha only. Jiva doesn't know it, and that is why in ignorance it goes on doing all these karmas. And the guru will also advise that you need to first get chitta shuddhi, and for which one of the methods you can adopt is understanding the Vishnu Sahasranama, every nama of Bhagavan, every nama of Ishvara, what it means. And through Vishnu Sahasranama, understand that this entire Jagat is nothing but Ishvara only. And this preparatory knowledge helps us to get out of this life of becoming, this life of samsara, to get rid of this Bhavaroga, as it is called. So, Suparnaha. Then Vayu Vahanaha. The one because of whom Vayu moves. Vayuhu Vahati Yad Dvitiya Sarvani Bhutani Saha Vayu Vahanaha. It's a very simple nama. As the Lord is the Nimitta Karana, the maker, it is by his Agnya, by his order, that the air keeps moving. In fact, everything does their own job, or every Devata does its own job only because of the order of Ishvara. Therefore, here in this context, it is because of his manifestation that Vayu has got this particular form. What is Vayu? Vayu is nothing but manifestation of Ishvara in one of the forms. And we must understand that if the Vayu does not move, there will be no life. All these Panchabhutas need to be very active for life to be sustained on this bhumi. So here, since it is because of Bhagavan, the eternal consciousness, that the Vayu keeps moving and sustains all life, hence he is called Vayu Vahana. So that was the last nama of this sloka. Now we will go to the next sloka. Dhanurdharo dhanurvedo dando damayita damaham aparajidas sarvasaho niyanta niyamo yamaha. So this sloka again has got 10 namas. Dhanurdharaha, dhanurvedaha, dandaha, damayita damaha, aparajitaha, sarvasaha, niyanta, aniyamaha. This aniyamaha has got an alternate reading as niyamaha also. And ayamaha, the last nama in this sloka, has an alternate reading of yamaha also. So totally 10 namas are there. Dhanurdharaha, the one who wielded the bow. Sriman Ramanama Mahadhanuhu Darayamase iti Dhanurdharaha. So this nama refers to Ramavatara. As Sri Rama in the Ramavatara, Bhagavan was the wielder of a great bow, which was called Kodanda. That's why he is also called Kodanda Rama. So here he is referred to as Dhanurdharaha. Actually, the Vishnu, the bow of Vishnu, I think is called Sariga. That's also a very famous bow. But here, since Dhanurdharaha is used, you can either way take it as Vishnu or Ramavatara, because in both these forms, Bhagavan was wielding a great bow. Then Dhanurvedaha, the knower of the science of archery. Saeva dasharatihi dhanurvedam veti iti dhanurvedaha. As we know, the Vedavyasa classified the Vedas into 4 Vedas, what we call four parts or 4 divisions. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharvana Veda. And apart from this, there are many Upavedas also, which are secondary disciplines of knowledge, like Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, Ayurveda. There are so many Upavedas. So in his avatara as Sri Rama, the son of Dasharatha, he was the knower of Dhanurveda, discipline of archery. What does that mean? It is not merely the physical action of taking a bow, taking an arrow and fitting it in the bow and shooting. Every arrow has to be released from the bow by chanting a certain mantra, which will actually give that particular arrow the power to do what it is meant to do. So the arrows that are used have proper mantras to propel them. And Bhagavan is in the form of the very Dhanurveda. And he is the one who has given out the Dhanurveda. Hence he is called the Dhanurveda. The knowledge of all these mantras for the purpose of releasing these arrows, that is the subject matter of this Dhanurveda. And Bhagavan is the one who has given this Dhanurveda to the world. So he is called Dhanurveda. So therefore, even the Upavedas are not separate from the all-knowing Ishvara. When we talk Sarvajnaha, Sarvam Veti, Sarvavit, when we talk of Ishvara in these terms, what we mean is he is the knower of all knowledge, all disciplines of knowledge, because Dhanurveda is one of those disciplines. It is just a Upalakshana. It conveys the meaning that Ishvara is the giver and also is. The giver also is all the disciplines of knowledge, because all knowledge flows from the all-knowing Ishvara alone. So Dhanurveda hai. Then Danda hai. Danda hai means the one who is in the form of justice. Damanam damayatam danda hai. Whereas Dhanurveda deals with war, which means that there is adharma, and therefore there should be justice. And when we talk of justice, there is also a system of punishment and penalties. All this come under the law of karma. For every wrong action, there is a penalty. That is, the law of karma gives a result, a negative result. You can call it an unpleasant result. So this law is Danda, system of justice. So Bhagavan is in the form of the system of justice. It is a cosmic system of justice, and it is based on dharma, adharma, punya, papa, etc. Earlier we saw Bhagavan is the nimitta karana, the maker of this universe. Bhagavan is also the upadana karana, the material with which the universe is made, and that Bhagavan is in the form of justice, and he is manifest as that order. So dharma is one side of the coin and karma is the other side of the coin. Without dharma, there is no punya papa, and without punya papa, there is no karma. So Bhagavan is manifest in the form of danda, the very law of justice, the power of punishing and the punishment. Everything is Bhagavan. In the Gita, Bhagavan says, Dando damayatam asmi. Of those who inflict punishment, I am the danda. Dandaha Damayitam Asmi. 10th chapter Gita. Then Dhamayita, the one who wields justice. Vaivasvata Narendradi Rupena Praja Damayiti iti Damayita. So again, reference is here to the Nimitta Karana. As the Nimitta Karana, the Lord becomes Damayita. Not only he is in the form of justice, he is also the wielder of justice. He is not only the ultimate wielder of justice, but he is also the one who wields the justice in the form of rulers, judges, and manus. Current is Vaivasvata Manmantaram. So there are so many, it's a Lord who manifests as all these, who actually, what I can say, give justice for all, or give the karma phala in a just manner to all the jivas. Damayita. Then Damaha, the one who is in the form of punishment. Damaha, Damyeshu Dandakaryam Phalam Ta Cha Sa Eveti Damaha. So Danda is a system of justice which, when wielded, gives a punishment, a penalty for wrongdoing. The penalty which acts as a deterrent, preventing the person from taking to adharma in future, is Dhamma. So Dhamma basically means to restrain. And this Dhamma, in the context of punishment meted out for adharmic activities, results in an attitude of restraining oneself from adharma that comes out of as a result of this punishment. And that Dhamma is also Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan. So Dhamma is also Bhagavan. Then Aparajitaha, the one who is unconquered. Shatrubihi na parajita iti aparajitaha. Again, very simple nama. We have seen shades of the similar meanings earlier also. Bhagavan is aparajita, never defeated by anyone, because there is nothing other than Bhagavan. The second thing, para is not available to defeat him. Again, Advaita philosophy comes in here. Nothing is there to defeat Bhagavan, because there is only Bhagavan everywhere. Then Sarvasaha. There are two meanings Adi Shankara takes. The one capable of everything, Sarvasaha, and also Sarvasaha, the one who can withstand all. Sarva karmasu samartha iti Sarvasaha. Sarvan shatrun sahate iti va Sarvasaha. So with reference to all karmas, he is Saha. Saha means capable. Hence he is Sarvasaha. He has the capacity to create, sustain, and withdraw the Jagat. So he is also Sarvasaha. He is also Sarvasaha because he can withdraw and overpower all the enemies. Just now we saw is Aparajitaha. No one can stand against him. So he is Sarvasaha. Niyanta, the governor. Sarvan sweshu krityeshu vyavastapayati iti niyanta. So Bhagavan is Niyanta, the governor of all. He delegates duties to all, each aspect of the creation as a devata. And all the devatas are nothing but the Bhagavan himself. From a particular manifest phenomenon, an exalted jiva becomes a devata. So water is a phenomenon, and so there is a Jala Devata. Air is a phenomenon, and therefore there is Vayu Devata. Fire is a phenomenon, and therefore there is Agni Devata. All these devatas are nothing but exalted jivas. Jivas who have done lot of punya, earned lot of punya in their previous births, and they get promoted as these devatas. Therefore, we must understand one thing. All these devatas, they are not permanent positions. In this cycle of creation, in this kalpa, one jiva will be the Vayu Devata, another jiva Agni Devata. In the next kalpa, the designations of Vayu Devata, Agni Devata will be there, but the occupants of those designations will be different jivas. So if we understand that even you and me can actually be elevated to the status of a Devata, because Devatas are nothing but exalted jivas only. And Ishvara is the Niyanta for all these Devatas. He is the Devata in charge of the total. He governs by entrusting everyone with different functions as duty. The whole organization controlled by or administered by Ishvara. So he is Niyanta. The entire cosmic network is Bhagavan's network. Then the next nama, Aniyamaha. As I told you, there is also an alternate reading, Niyamaha. Aniyamaha means the one not bound by any rule. Niyamaha Niyatistasya na vidyate iti aniyamaha. Sarva niyantuhu niyantrantara abhavat. Niyantrantara abhavat. So, when we read the sloka, the Sandhi rules of Sanskrit language, they allow this nama and also the next nama to be taken as Aniyama and Ayama and also as Niyama and Yama. Puja Swamiji says the namas Aniyama and Ayama are taken, that reading is taken for the purpose of Archana. Om Animaya Aniyamaya Namaha, Om Ayamaya Namaha. That's for the purpose of Archana. Niyama and Yama basically are to understand Ishvara. So as we saw, Ishvara is Niyanta, the controller of everyone and everything. But he himself does not have a Niyanta, a controller above him to dictate rules such as, hey Ishvara, this should be done by you, this is not to be done by you, etc. Therefore, he is Aniyama, not bound, subject to any Niyama or rule. He is self-controlled. And if we want to understand the word Niyama, he is the very rule. So as the very rule, he is Niyama. As he does not have anybody else to tell him what rule he should follow, he is Aniyama. That's how we have to understand both these words, Niyama and Aniyama. Similarly, Ayamaha and Yamaha. Ayamaha means the one who does not have death. Nasya vidyate yamaha mrityuhu iti ayamaha. Atava yamaniyamau yogange tad gamyatvat sa eva niyamaha yamaha. So the Yama, the Lord of Death, we all know Yama is the Lord of Death. Parameshwara does not have any Lord Yama knocking on his door, because Bhagavan is eternal and not subject to death. Therefore, he is Ayama, not subject to death. And if we want to understand Yama and Niyama are the first two limbs of Yoga Shastra. Niyama prescribes certain things which have to be done, while Yama prescribes certain things which are not to be done. Again, these Niyamas and Yamas do not apply to Bhagavan. Hence, he is Aniyama and Ayama. Those of you who are little bit familiar with the Yoga Sutras, Yoga Sutra define Yama as Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Yama hai. And Niyama are what? Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara, Pranidhan, Iti, Pranidhanani, Niyama hai. Yoga Sutra. So there are 5 Yamas and 5 Niyamas which are. In fact, the Ashtanga Yoga, there many people follow, say that we are doing yoga, we are doing yoga. Either they have no understanding of what yoga is, or conveniently they say we are doing yoga even though they are doing only 2 limbs of the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. 25% only yoga they are doing, and they claim that they are doing yoga. They do maximum asana and pranayama. But the Yoga Shastra says that all these asanas, pranayama will not deliver what they are supposed to deliver unless you actually follow the first 2 limbs, Yama and Niyama. So one should be very careful. If one is very strictly, very honest, he will say, I am doing physical exercises and breathing exercises which are based upon the Yoga Shastra. One should never claim that I am doing yoga. Because the very first Yama, or second Yama, Satyam becomes a victim, casualty, when you say I am doing yoga. Anyhow, that was a aside. So Yama consists in abstaining from causing injury to others, falsehood, theft, incontinence, and greed. Niyama consists of cleanliness, contentment, austerities, swadhyaya, study, and devotion to God. Ishvara pranidhanani. Since these yamas and niyamas are prescribed, it impels us to follow a lifestyle to prepare the mind, focus the mind, develop concentration of the mind, which is a necessary, I would say, qualification for getting into Jnana Yoga, for gaining the knowledge of the self. So Bhagavan is in the form of Yama and Niyama. And whenever we want to invoke Bhagavan in terms of the blessings of Bhagavan, in terms of pursuing this self-knowledge, we must always pray, hey Bhagavan, please bless me with sufficient Yama and Niyama to follow, so that I gain more and more purity of my mind. So this is Yama and Niyama. Now the next sloka. Sattvavan Satvika Satyah Satya Dharma Parayanah Abhipraya Priyarhurah Priyakrit Priti Vardhanah. Again, we have 9 namas here. Sattvavan, Satvika, Satya, Satya Dharma Parayana, that is one nama. Abhipraya, Priyarha, then Arha, Priyakrit, Priti Vardhana. 9 namas are there. Sattvavan. The word Sattva has a meaning of courage also. The one who is all courage. That's why, if you remember right in the beginning, when Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara's Bhashyam, he was introducing this Vishnu Sahasranamam, he had stated that many namas in the Vishnu Sahasranama will appear to be repeating itself in terms of its meaning. And if that is a repetition, then that is a defect in the scripture. Therefore, Adi Shankara had emphasized that each nama needs to be understood in different contexts which the language permits, Sanskrit language permits. And if we have that approach, we will find that there is actually no repetition. There is at least a slight shade of difference in meaning in namas which appear to be similar meaning. So the word Sattva has a meaning. So different meanings are there. One meaning is courage. That's why he says, Shaurya Viryadikam Sattvam Asyeti Sattvavan. Sattvavan is the one who possesses all courage. So, as I said, Sattva has many meanings, and here it has a meaning of Shaurya and Virya, courage and valor. So, the Lord is invoked as Sattvavan, as one who has courage and skill to face the challenges. Because courage without skill is foolhardiness. What they call, blind courage. And skill without courage is useless. You may be an excellent, fighter. But if you don't have courage to fight, that fighting skill is useless. Therefore, in order to get both courage and also valor, we invoke Ishvara with the quality of courage. And why do we do that? Ishvara has it in absolute measure. All courage Ishvara only has got. So we just invoke Ishvara to be blessed with that quality of courage. Satvika, the one who is predominantly a Satvika guna. Sattve gune pradhanyena stite iti Satvika. Even though Ishvara has Maya Upadhi made up of the 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamo guna, Ishvara does not come under the spell of these gunas, especially Rajo guna and Tamo guna. What does this mean? Bhagavan can never afford to be sleepy or lazy. All these gunas serve him as powers because they are necessary to create the world of living beings and also inert objects. So since Bhagavan is all-knowing, Sattva is predominant because Sattva guna is directly related to knowledge. And that is why, one of the tips which is given for spiritual pursuit is In the process of the spiritual pursuit, one must convert one's tamoguna and rajoguna to the maximum extent possible into sattva guna. Because once you have got predominance of sattva guna, you are very, very near to Ishvara. How do we do that? Scriptures help us, they guide us. What are all the activities which promote sattva guna? What are all the even food? What is sattvic food? Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita talks about it. What are sattvic foods? What are rajasic foods? What are tamasic foods? All gunas, Bhagavan in the 17th chapter talks about them. Gunatraya vibhagayo Gunatraya vibhagaha nama. That is the name of that, the 17th chapter. 3 gunas, he deals with it in details in Bhagavad Gita. That can serve us as a complete guidance how we can actually replace tamo guna and rajo guna to a large extent with sattva guna, and then become sattva guna pradhana, and which will again help us in absorbing, assimilating the knowledge of the self that we would have gained through Shravanam Mananam. Because the human beings are predominantly driven by Rajas and Tamas. And this Rajas, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, they lead to situations of agitations, restlessness, depression, laziness, indifference, etc., anger. So to be a sattvika, to be free from all these problems caused by these 2 gunas, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, Bhagavan is invoked as sattvika. Then the next nama is Satyaha. Again, the word Satyaha. See, this is how Adi Shankara brings out different meanings. The one who is good to the good people. Satsu sadhutvat Satyaha. Satpurushas are those who follow the Vaidika Marga and have devotion and faith in the Lord. It is only because of the grace of Ishvara that the Satpurushas are able to be Satpurushas. And because he showers his grace on them, he is Satya. For those who know a little bit of Sanskrit, here the word Satya is derived. There's a Padini Sutra for that. The Sat is the root verb, and it takes a Yat Pratyaya. That is how it becomes Satya. These are all grammar points. Those who are interested in grammar will understand how this word Satya is derived in order to derive this meaning as one who is good to good people, who blesses the Satpurushas. Then Satya Dharma Parayanaha, the one who is committed to truthfulness and righteousness. Satye yadha bhutartha katane dharme cha chodana lakshane niyate iti Satya Dharma Parayanaha. So here the word Satya does not mean any vastu, but it is yathartha katana, the capacity and care to sift material in order to find the truth without jumping to conclusions. That is called Ritam. So we come across these 2 words, Ritam and Satyam, in our scriptures rather. In fact, Ganesha Atharva Sirsham, those who know, Ritam Vachmi, Satyam Vachmi, Avatvam Mam. So Ritam and Satyam, two words are used, and we need to understand what is the difference between Ritam and Satyam. I think it's 7 o'clock. We will deal with this Nama in the next, because I need to explain a little about Ritam and Satyam. Okay, I'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mama. Happy Diwali, Ellarkum.
Yes,
Thank you. Happy Diwali.
to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a nice
Guruji.
Diwali.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Deepavali.
Thank you, Guruji.
you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Namaskaram.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Happy Diwali.
Diwali again.
Happy
Since you are
Diwali, Guruji. Hari Om.
Since-
Dhanyawada.
Since you are in Delhi, it is going to be a very silent Diwali, it appears.
Yes. Silent and non-polluting Diwali.
Very good.
But I'm not
Very
very
good.
sure. I know Delhiites. They don't bother for any law, rule, and all.
Yes. It depends which area you are staying.
We are staying in Paschim Bihar, which is
Oh,
a
Pashchim Bihar. Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm
Good.
already hearing some sounds of crackers and all. But it may not be as intense as it used to be earlier. But many people
Non-polluting.
follow. Yeah, but it will be subdued. But then I think
Sub-
you can't stop people from what they want to do.
Absolutely. Okay, Guruji. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So I believe there are no questions today, and we can close the session. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Guruji.
So,
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to all of you. Enjoy your weekend and Diwali. Thank you.